Welcome back to Your World. I'm your host, Mikali. We are at the Kenya Cultural Center this trendy Thursday. We are hoping that you're having an amazing, amazing morning. We had an amazing session with spoken word artists J Alpha and Mumo Poet, and I hope you learned a lot about the process that is the industry that you're trying to get into. Now, today being a trendy Thursday and us being at the Kenya Cultural Center, we are really, really getting into matters performing arts. Nimekaa na mastar, superstars. Karibuni sana.
Thank you so much.
Unajua ni nini?
Sani wawili tu hapa.
Yeah. Nani na nani?
Ukitaka kujua sani nani na nani, angalia viatu kama mtu amevaa socks.
Wikali. Sasa unajua kuna vaa socks na kuna mafuta.
Yes. Mwanaume anajipaka mafuta. Mwanaume ajipake mafuta.
Wikali aiwanda. By the way, there was no pressure by the way. Wikali kukuwa na pressure kumuita kama hizi paka mafuta.
No, let me tell you. Coordinated.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Looking nice.
Wikali, this is being extra. Mwanaume ni kuparara.
Hey.
You know, this mafuta thing is not associated with men. Must not be associated with men. Mwanaume
Socks.
Siko ndani kuna ankle. Socks siko ndani.
Hawa kusema ti wanaume ni kuparara. Hao wale wanaume bado wanaita ID kipande.
Gentlemen, welcome to Your World. I'd let you introduce yourselves. Nyinyi mmesema nyote ni master. Sijui tuanze na nani?
Anza na master.
Anza na suti.
Kevin, kindly introduce yourself to the people.
Thank you very much. My name is Kevin Kimani Kahuro. I'm the Programs and Business Development Manager here at Kenya Cultural Center, incorporating the Kenya National Theatre. In general, I'm an arts manager.
Hiyo yote ni kusema ya kwamba. Arts manager.
Arts management, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll get into what that entails and what it means for us artists.
Absolutely.
Wenye tumekaa hapa. Uko kwa moto leo, Kevin.
Sawa. I am gladly here
yes.
to be roasted.
Okay.
And to say what we do as an institution and what we are doing to support the industry.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mimi kama mshikadau kwenye industry.
Hey,
yes. My name is Dennis Ndenga. Creative director, the Crony Productions. Yes, I wear many hats, but today, let's talk about creativity.
All right. Wasocks.
Wasocks.
Mwenye si superstar.
Uko muone watu kampuni za mafuta zinanitafuta wewe after this one. You guys will be looking for me. Anyway, I'm Victor Nyata, aka Pius, aka Beki wa kupanda na kushuka, aka goalkeeper anaacha ingie lakini anaokoa, aka nafanyanga nini Crony?
No pressure bro, no pressure.
Yeah, so I'm also
kama una title pia ni sawa.
Acha niseme. So I'm the executive producer Crony Production Limited and also the director Mkisi Production Limited. Nafanya pia biashara. I do business, nauza pork. Nilianza pale Mombasa lakini biashara ikakuwa ngumu. Pia nauza mayai. Kwa hivyo Mwikali ukitaka mayai yangu I can gladly supply. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Dennis is looking at you like he doesn't know you.
I'm like, hey, do you represent Crony?
I'm like,
does Crony know
hold
you're
up.
saying all this?
Hizi ni biashara za chini ya maji.
You know, when I look at Victor, he's a representative of growth. I made that.
Sure.
He is. Kuna kapicha mahali tukiamua kukaeka kwa social media.
Tutawachwa.
Hii introduction amefanya hapa leo. This was not the way it was.
Yeah.
In 16 or 17 thereabout.
Oh yes.
I remember that. Alikuwa humble.
Yes.
By then bado alikuwa na accent.
Accent ilikuwa ina nini.
By then bado alikuwa na you know the accent, the Kisii accent.
Yes.
But instead of saying woman, he still say woman. By then alikuwa na accent bado.
Kevin, please. And I know you guys have a production coming up this weekend. We'll talk about that as well. But we are also here as artists, and I'd like to know what your office really does for us as artists. What the nitty-gritties of that? What is your mandate?
Yes. So the Kenya Cultural Center is established under an act of parliament, though very old, in 1952. And we are mandated to support the development of visual and performing arts by providing space for artists, building capacity, creating an opportunity for them to sell their products and to showcase their products to the industry, and in that way also inviting the public to come and enjoy what we have to offer as a country, both in terms of performing and visual arts. So that is what we are mandated to do, and also we have a mandate to hold discussions and meetings around matters of interest around both performing and visual arts.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'd like to know, and probably because they've walked the journey,
Yes.
and you being at a position of overseeing and looking, and not just, you know, the ones who are seated here. There's so many other productions that are happening in this particular place. What does it look like when it comes to the frequency of productions, the growth of the same, the quality of that, the turn-up of people who are coming here to showcase like what Crony will be showcasing this weekend?
Yes. So in a nutshell, every year we host around 156 productions.
156
productions here at the National Theatre.
That means our Mechukua Weekend Moja, that is one production.
That is one production. So if we were to measure the number of shows, it goes all the way to 500 shows. In terms of revenue that these artists generate here, on an annual basis is close to 6 to 10 million.
Ati umesema ngapi?
6 to 10 million. That is
Kevin,
money.
Are
That
you
is
calling Kare on us? Can you?
Just cheza chini punguza. Yeke hapo 3
The
million.
beauty is artists, I think as of now, artists are not being charged or taxed. We hope that scene is not going to change, especially for the performing arts. So that is the situation. But in terms of as what we are mandated to do, we are doing that. We're providing that space, especially the National Theatre. We offer it at a 60% subsidy to artists.
Ooh.
So ideally, we are supposed to be charging 100, but for artists, we charge the 40,000. So
That
that's
means if you come as a
60%.
corporate.
Yes, if you come as a corporate, your rate is 100,000.
Okay.
So you will pay 120 because of a refundable deposit.
Okay.
But for artists, is all the way 60%, and that is something that we do to the artists that we've not spoken about for quite some times, but that is a 60% subsidy. And what that does, it even sometimes it affects us as an institution with the revenue that we are supposed to earn. Because as a semi-autonomous government agency,
Yeah.
there is money that we are supposed to recoup to fund our activities. But because, again, we can't increase this rate for the artists, we say this is our support to the artist. We have a main auditorium and a small auditorium. We have an exhibition space. We have an outdoor space where we offer platform for spoken word artists, musicians to come and cover. We basically support anything that is stage performance, from all the way from music. The line in which we support music is any music that is performed on stage. We promote that because that's also a performing thing. But the recording component is with another government agency.
All right.
Yes.
Kama wasanii mnasikia ni kama mmetajwa mahali hiyo subsidy, is it something that you felt? Have you felt the difference? Because you've been in the industry probably for like a couple of years now.
Yes.
Have you felt that impact as an artist, where the fees have gone down, where the frequency of the people coming to watch, the millions that
you
lakini
are making.
uliona watu wanatuwekea mapicha tu wanasema God did.
Wewe.
Nimewacha.
I think for us as artists, we are feeling it.
Okay.
And whatever he's saying, it's true. Whatever percentage and the rates that we get, it's not the normal percentage that we get from the corporates. And it's a good thing because you see, even for us and for the artists in general, it's a bit hard for us to get space as frequent, because it means we have a lot of productions, and also, you know, they can afford to stage shows in the main auditorium. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing that, you know, it's an invite to everyone who wants to, you know, to join the performing arts, to put up a group, do the marketing and all that. All you need to do your marketing. But in terms of the rates and everything, we are glad that Kenya Cultural Center is, you know, handling that space. So we are beneficiaries of the same.
Yeah, and also maybe to add on what Ndenga has said, and it's something really we have to. Superstar has said. We are cognizant of the fact that Kenya National Theatre is intentional in trying to make sure that they accommodate all types of artists. Just recently, they finished renovating the Kenya National Theatre because they did it. They keep doing it all the time, and also that they have two auditoriums. You know, they have the main auditorium, they have the ukumbi mdogo. So whatever your budget is, you are sure that you are accommodated. And also, one thing we like also as a production is the fact that they've sanitized the place, because Kitambo, this place had a lot of activities, people smoking weed, people doing what.
Alas.
But now these guys are intentional to make sure that everybody who comes here is coming to a safe place, is coming to a clean environment, you know, and that's key to us as people who, you know, are also advocates of, we are against drug use and whatever the case may be. Yeah. So we find the space better even for our rehearsals, that you can come here and it's a clean environment for you to do your rehearsals, and also that they provide rehearsal spaces, something you may not find in other auditoriums, because other auditoriums out there are expensive. You have to pay for the rehearsal space.
So here the rehearsal space is free as long as I have a show here.
You have a rehearsal space.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yes.
So that is something also we do.
Okay.
So if you have booked space with us, we'll give you at least 2 weeks of rehearsal.
Yeah.
So that then you're able to prepare for your show. And then one day to your event, we'll give you access to the main auditorium for free to do your technical rehearsal.
Okay.
So on top of that 60% subsidy, we give you a full day for free to be able to do your tech and to support your activities. And also, as they are saying, we are accommodative, and we know that different groups are on a different level. That's why we have different spaces to accommodate people at different levels. And what I would also encourage artists is that we also have a small space. It's an exhibition space, but is normally converted into a performance space. And it's very cheap. Hiring it for a day is 10,000. And it can accommodate up to 50 people.
Okay.
So you can put up a small production there, you know, and start small and grow your audiences. And also in terms of trying to make this as a safe space, because we also want to nurture our young audiences from a very young age. So we want this to be a space where you can be comfortable bringing your kids, so that then they can grow in that environment, knowing that art is a good thing, is a good venture, and they see the ripple effect of what it is. And then as they grow up, they become our audiences. And that's what we are trying to do.
Okay, great.
Maybe just an add-on to Kevin. Maybe something now they should consider, and we appreciate the things they are doing. They can inject Kidogo. Let's have at least, because if the turnover is 10 million and whatever, then we can have a week for productions which are doing, which are going to stage plays here. A week-long chai and mukate and mandazi every day. I mean, that can be done. So that now it's a more motivation for artists to come here. So Kevin, I think that's something you can note down. Wiki moja mwisho mandazi, utaka kuongezea choma.
For a more serious conversation away from the chai and everything. I
understand is a kisi and chai, so lazima.
Tutakuja kwa hizo
anataka week long. But napenda kitu mmekuwa mkitaja performing arts. And Kevin, I'd like to know, what does that involve? Who are these participants? Who are performing artists? Or who do you recognize as a performing artist?
A performing artist is so there are various types of artists. There are visual artists. These are artists who produce work that is consumed by visual.
Okay.
Mostly these are fine artists who will paint, and you as an artist, you will consume that product through your eye. Yes, all artists, most of them is consumed through the eye. But a performing artist is anyone who goes on stage to perform. Like your art is done through performative. So you're either performing a song, you're acting. A film actor is also a performing artist, but the film is consumed through as a visual component. So these are artists, any artist who performs on stage. Okay. And that is what we cover. And we are talking about actors. We are talking about acrobats. We are talking about poets. We are talking about dancers, percussionists, you know. A musician who is performing on stage is also a performing artist. So all these are the people who we cover in our mandate. And we provide space for them and platforms for them. Throughout the whole spectrum. And we have programs. Space is one of the things we do. We have a very robust poetry program that involves, we host poets every week. We give them lunch and then they perform. So it's a peer mechanism. Every Thursday when you come here, every Thursday.
That is the PAL that happens today.
Yes.
Is it happening today?
It's happening today. Okay. And then apart from that, on top of that PAL program, we've developed a curriculum where we are able to train poets, and they can get a certificate a government certificate as poets. So we're trying to professionalize that. We also have a training program for theater artists, for actors. We go to Mashinani, we train them in Mashinani level. We have a program for percussionists, dancers, and acrobats. We call them Ngoma na Sarakasi. So we combine percussionists, dancers, and acrobats to give the fusion of Kenyan, what we call Kenyan, the actual authentic Kenyan culture. We're trying to revive that as well and promote that in the country, throughout the country. Yes.
I think there's something you said,
Yes.
which I
Inject.
I'm not injecting right now. I'll inject in a few. There's something you said about the programs. Is it PAL? Yes, PAL. At least upon apeana chakula. So that's something.
I'll join. Just be sure that today, of course.
Nileo. So Leo chakula.
I'm joining.
And also on top of that, he said about giving certificates to poets and all that. That is your opportunity to get your first certificate.
Yes, I'm a
after
poet.
KCSE. Anyway, now I want to
Inject.
My injection comes from now marketing, which is the biggest problem for artists. Marketing. By marketing, what do I mean? Is I met you in Dubai in December.
Yes.
Yeah, we met in Dubai. And you see, in Dubai, what normally they do when you get into the airport, the first thing they'll give you, it's a brochure.
Yes.
And in their brochure, you'll get to see the desert safari. You get to see, what is the name of Ule? There's a chakacha,
belly dancer.
Part of the brochure, and the things that you'll get as you enter Dubai.
Yeah.
These are their cultural, performances and all these things. So it's something that I will want to throw to Kevin and the rest of the team is there a way that when all these, tourists and everyone that is coming to the country and, local, people as well, is there a way that, nikiingia JKIA, can we have brochures in such a way that ukiingia, you get a brochure, then you're able to see on this weekend, which place do we have?
Because it's our culture.
Yeah, it's our culture.
Mbali na fisi, kuna. Yeah.
Ukitoa fisi, kuna. There's Crony here. There is, heartstrings here. There is Kwandego. There is all these productions,
Yes.
you get to see as part of the marketing. So at least when they are doing the subsidy, also as part of the marketing, it's something, across here, this big hotel that we have here, we have tourists over there. Can we have brochures that, that can have our plays and everything that's the only support we can get on, in terms of marketing. Also, we have screens all over these hotels.
Yeah.
We have also in the airport.
Yes.
Have our products being showcased.
Weke kwa billboard pia. I mean, Crony ni watu wa billboard.
Yes,
Kabisa.
and everything. So that is something critical. That sometimes as you do your subsidy, you might lack the audience to come and watch your performances.
Yeah.
Then how do we meet, in terms of marketing? As much as we do our marketing, we can only do as much.
Yes.
Yeah. So through their help, because they have the, the
resource,
muscles and the resource and everything. So it's something that probably this year or next year is something to consider in terms of marketing. How can we symbiotic relationship between all these groups to market? Yeah.
Actually, on top of what he said just before Kevin speaks, we were system indizi. We actually, what Dennis has said is really very true, and I think we were one of the luckiest people that when we had the African Summit, we had the second lady Ghana come to our show because she was sleeping at the hotel next to Kenya National Theatre, and she saw a poster that we had put outside there, and she actually came and booked the whole auditorium.
Yeah.
One day, her and her staff, and they watched our play.
Yes.
And we were like, if she made that effort, how many of these people, how many of these dignitaries, diplomats who can do the same, who can come to the National Theatre and know that plays are happening here. I mean, these guys, the government has access to embassies, I want to believe. Absolutely. What is this that the government can do so that these people can know that, number one, it's a safe place, it's a safe space, because when you talk about diplomats, you want to think about security, you want to think about a lot of arrangements beforehand. The government can assure them that this is a safe place. We need to do what? We need to support. Yeah. And also, I want to talk even financial support. How can the Kenya National Theatre, through the government, lobby some of these institutions or organizations to pump money into artist performances so that now artists don't depend solely on
Iko
tickets.
sawa.
Iko sawa?
Kiswahili watakusikia. Nyamira ndani watakusikia. Sasa solili.
Hii kizungu nimeongea. My lord. Kizungu imeisha hapo.
But I think you have a really good point, and I mean, Kevin, I see you pulling the mic, wanting to answer, but then Wakotuapa injecting. And I don't know if we have enough time to get the answer fully right now. Ama we can take a break and then come back with that. Can we? Yes? Okay. So let's take a quick break as you marinate and ninig. Maswali ni mingi hapa. But if you have any questions, please talk to us on NTV Kenya, Facebook, Instagram, and on X. We will be right back after this break. We are actually going straight to the digital summit. We have the chairman speaking right now. So don't go too far. We'll be right back after his speech.
I was there before that time. I come from an era where you actually used to write letters. And if you wanted to communicate with a girlfriend, you wrote a letter and put it in an envelope. You went to the post office, bought a stamp, posted it, and you waited anxiously to see whether your advances were welcome or not. So this is actually very exciting, to be, with this new generation, because I don't think there are many people of my age in this one. But I would like to welcome you to this digital summit on behalf of NMG. And allow me to start by thanking all the people who are here. We see the government is very well represented, the county governments are well represented, and particularly just to say thank you so much for those people who have volunteered their time to come and actually share with us. Because one of the things that we try to do in this digital summit is to have an environment where the private sector can engage with one another in a manner that people don't have to be careful about what they say because of to be politically correct. Here, we are going to say it as it is, because I think what we are trying to do is that the subjects we are going to be discussing are subjects that are actually very, very critical for the advancement of our continent, our country, and so on. So the senior government officials that are here, the governors and so on, I give you my commitment that whatever we are discussing here will remain here. So feel free to talk very freely, because we really need to talk about this here. Last year, I was, I think after we had hosted, I think it was the 4th summit, I was playing golf with a friend of mine in Muthaiga, and he asked me, by the way, Wilfred, why does Nation sponsor these digital summits, and yet you are not a tech company? And I was actually a bit taken aback, because I thought it would have been quite obvious why we did this. And I was at pains to try to explain to him that what the role of the media is. And I told him, we think it's our role as media to be the people who try to connect others, to provide a platform where people can come and talk about the issues that face Africa, where we can actually help to drive the conversation about the narrative that we have about Africa, so that Africa can talk honestly and openly about issues that affect Africa, and also, more importantly, to find solutions about African problems ourselves. So that's what the media is all about. And that's why I think at Nation Media Group, you'll find that when we talk about the leadership forums, we try to bring and to provide an opportunity for people to talk about this. So we are very passionate about this. We'll continue to do so. And I want to confirm that this is something that we really want to do. And we are also hoping that we can actually get the governments interested in working with us together so that we can have this conversation, because I don't think anyone has monopoly of ideas. I don't think the government has all the ideas that they need to be able to help us move forward. I don't think private sector also understand maybe some of the challenges that the public sector face. And this is a good opportunity for us to have that kind of. In today's world, digital inclusion is everything. I think the panelists that were there before us, I think, have made it quite obvious in terms of just perhaps how inadequate we are in terms of understanding exactly where technology can take us. But I dare say that if you are not actually digitally included, you're actually nowhere. And for instance, when we talk about the internet and you hear all these big titles about technology and so on, the Internet of Things and all these other, generative AI and all the rest of it, it can be very confusing. And sometimes we do assume that people who are in a position to help us to move this forward, that they actually understand these things. And sometimes they don't. And it is very imperative for the media to be able to demystify some of these languages that actually act as barriers for us to be able to understand what technology talks about, and therefore we can apply it into our everyday things. Let me just try to, because me, I'm a simple man, I come from a generation at 80 years old, niko mashinani, in terms of, when it comes to adoption of technology, I'm not at the cutting edge of technology. But pre-COVID, if you look at pre-COVID, and what COVID did was to actually disrupt everything that we did. But at that particular point in time, it was, my wife used to go to the market every Saturday to buy the usual provisions of sukuma wiki, the bogas, the carrots, whatever it is, and so on. Since COVID, she has never gone to any market. And I must also confess, I don't go to any supermarket to buy anything. Because anything that I want to buy, the woman who used to sell us the bogas from Parklands, Parklands, the market and so on, now she's digitally savvy because, all she does is talk with my wife and she orders all these kind of things and blah, blah, blah. And then they have also these friendly border guys who actually brings everything home. And therefore, when you look at those kind of, inclusion, when we talk about digital inclusion, is now the Mama Boga has now even a much wider, market because, my wife then talks to her friends and so on. They have their own chamas and so on. And you find that this kind of, business grows quite well. These are the things that we are talking about, the kind of innovation that we need to talk about, because sometimes when we talk about innovation and technology and so on, we think about the big things, the shift and the shares of this technology that cost us 100 billion shillings in 10 years. Me, I'm a simple man, and I'm saying that I would hope that in today's discussion, we can go to mashinani and see how we can actually apply technology to make it work for everybody and where it can make a lot of difference. Because today, Africa is not on the table when it comes to matters of technology. We are actually punching well below our weight as Africans. And these are the kind of conversation we really need to have to ensure that actually Africa can actually be at the table of the people when we are talking about these issues of technology, because with our youth who are really, really well advanced. I have been around the world. I don't think there are many countries in the world I haven't been to. And what I can tell you is that our youth are as good, if not better, than any youth you find around. Sometimes when you go to America, you go to Japan, you go to Korea, you go to China. I've been to all these places. And you compare one with our youth. I can tell you without any fear of contradiction that our youth are way, way ahead. But then why does Africa still lag behind when we have all this critical mass of young people who are digitally savvy, and yet we are punching well below our weight? I hope this conversation today will dwell about that one, so that as Africans we can see how we can leverage on what we have to be able to move the thing forward. So I would hope that this dialogue, this summit will help us to form the kind of partnerships and the linkages that we can all talk about, because the thing that we are talking about today is that Africa is not going to move forward unless we actually connected within the whole digital space. But when you look at maybe when we talk about the digital inclusion, we must also maybe acknowledge here that the digital transformation, we have a lot of challenges that actually hamper this, because we still have about 700 million people in Africa that are not, don't have access to internet. 700 million people don't have internet. And I can't imagine, sometimes the youth, and many of you here are young people, you cannot understand how anybody can actually function without an internet. I have grandchildren and even great-grandchildren, And I find that some of my grandchildren who are maybe 10, 14 years old, if they don't have access to their smartphones and everything, they get depressed because they can't see how life can move without kind of stuff. I was actually taken aback. I think maybe PS here can tell us maybe sometimes some of what we think about. Because I know in some neighboring countries, when it comes to times of election, they actually switch off the internet, because hawataki kura ziibiwe. I don't know exactly what the issue is. And I just thought, switch off the internet. It's like, asking people, now when we go home in the evening, we put on the switch and the light comes on. And you can imagine today, in this day and age, you go to the house and you switch on the light and the light doesn't come. I mean, you get so stressed. So basically, even to think about cutting off the internet, I think it is actually putting people back to the Stone Age, because that's exactly what it is. And this is not to minimize, of course, some of the things that actually make it even happen for people even to think about cutting off the internet. Because, of course, the Vijanas today, I don't understand about them, the young people here. So some of them, they use these tools in a manner that we are not actually intended to be that way. Because how do you come to kwa Geneza, and using the AI and so on? It is very traumatizing. But of course, one can understand, what people are trying to understand. But our people, maybe the youth, I think they also need to learn in terms of how they can use these tools as to ensure that you don't step on powerful tools that then make it easier for them to punish you. So regulatory issues, I think we need to talk about them today, because I think what we want to do is to see forward-looking regulatory environment and a good understanding, so that at least we can see that we can move forward. The application of technology today and even the AI, I think you look at most of the government services, and I want to say, at least in Kenya, we can be proud of saying that we are one of the most digitally connected nations across Africa. Because you look at the access to government services, I think a lot of them have already been put on the digital platform, unlike other nations across the world, which has not only resulted in a massive improvement in revenue collection, but also stopped a lot of revenue leakages. And this is something that we need to help them. I dare say that in fact, in the county government, they don't really need to go and get all these expensive hardwares and softwares because I'm sure even here in Kwale, if you didn't look hard enough, there are guys here who can actually help you to have a digital solution to a lot of these things that you're having at a fraction of the cost. So let us, look at that one, and I hope we can do that. I don't want to take a lot more, but a lot of your time, but I want to say that, to reiterate once again, that this summit is not just a platform for high-level dialogue, but an opportunity to engage in constructively, share and learn from each other, shape our narratives, and create partnerships and catalyze a digital revolution that includes everybody. I think this is very important for us. And I'm very happy that we have a lot of policymakers here. I hope they can take home some of the issues they need to do in terms of when they are crafting the regulations and policies and so on, that there is something that can actually then work for everybody. Thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to a very robust discussion. As I said, let us say it as it is, because I think our take here is, let us take Africa forward in this digital world. Thank you so much, and God bless you. I have been told now it's my duty and privilege to invite Ambassador Philip Thigo, Special Envoy on Technology, Executive Office of the President, to come and address us. Karibu sana, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you. Good morning. Do we stretch? Okay, if you can stretch a bit. Some people are a bit cramped. You can still stretch as I figure out these slides. let me just do away with the protocols. His Excellency Dr. Irungu Kangata, Governor, County Government of Muranga, His Excellency Josephat Chirema, Deputy Governor, County Government of Kwale, Engineer John Tanui, a good friend, Principal Secretary, State Department of ICT and Digital Economy, PS Hari Kimtai, State Department of Medical Services, and last but not least, Dr. Wilfred Kiboro, Chairman of the National Media Group. All protocols observed. Good morning. I'm still requesting for my slides if you can. I think I've been asked to speak around a thought leadership, kind of just to try to frame my thinking around how can Africa shape the future of technology policy in a way that is more sustainable. I think that will catch up if I have to do it. I think a couple of things. One is that we have to think about the context that we are in right now. And so the age that we live in right now has what we're increasingly calling 3 accelerations. The first acceleration, and interesting enough, I didn't hear it in the morning, is climate. We cannot not have a conversation on how climate is shifting everything. So whether you invest in technology infrastructure, we know when it flooded, we had issues. Demography, of course, has been the subject matter. Today, the world is increasingly young. Median age, 19 or 19.7. And of course, technology is one of the issues that I think we keep on facing. If somebody can help me at the back, would be, if you're very kind. Of course, the whole issue, of course, is we live also in a time of rapid pace of change. Technologies, as you've heard previously from all the speakers, is that we used to have computers in the office. You close it, and that's it. Now, I don't know whether your phone is a camera, a typewriter, is a TV, is a tape recorder. We just don't know what it is. But it's actually changing how we live, learn, work, and communicate. It's also shaping everything in our lives. Previously, of course, it was just about productivity, but I think how it's shaping and transforming everything. The other part, of course, is the world is changing. Everything is modernizing, and of course, it's creating many pressures. And because of this rapid change, I think there's very much, of course, demands on government, and as much as you see a lot of focus and pressures in government, is because people are expecting things very quickly, and because the world has changed very quickly. Of course, there's global competition. We are not in a vacuum. What technology has done is that it has made the world very, very small. And so anything that happens anywhere in the world reverberates here. You talk about COVID as a disease, but remember, COVID stopped being a medical issue. It became a mobility issue. It became everything else. That just showed how we were very small. I'm still waiting, if you can help me. Of course, there's the issue.
Kiboro speaking at the 5th Nation Digital Summit, and their theme is Shaping Africa's Future for Sustainable Prosperity. And we'll be going right there after we finish up at Your World. We're talking Matters Art. And before we took that very short break, Kevin, you are on the spotlight because Zululizo Maswali are marketing and what you're doing, if there's a plan for that as well.
Thank you very much. Those are very good contributions, and actually we've been thinking about that, and we've initiated processes, and we've approached Kenya Tourism Board to incorporate culture as part of the Magical Kenya program, because we have a very rich culture, and we can enrich the Kenyan tourism experience by incorporating cultural tourism. And that we're working towards that, and we encourage artists to come together so that we're able to sell quality, you know. And you see, people will be able to come and watch performances if there is quality. And I am sure any one of us who's traveled outside the country, every tourist longs to go and watch something cultural from a different country. And therefore, that's a very huge potential that we're exploring. And I'm sure within the next years, as we've been challenged, we'll be able to hack that. And we're also inviting media stations to work with us to help market quality products. Because we have, as you've said, we have 156 productions here every year. So we will want to encourage media companies to come on board and help us market these shows. And I'm sure you're doing that, but I would
ask us to do a bit more.
A bit more.
As you do more as well.
Yes, as we do more.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yes.
I'd like the superstars, because tulikuwa tumeshaji introduce.
Yes.
Tupigie mega superstar makofi kwa sababu.
Really?
Karibu sana.
You know what these guys,
Yes.
even ndio wataninyang'anya, watanitoa kwa hii group. Because I didn't know there was an interview.
What do you mean?
What do you
I was
mean?
not told there was
You're
an
not
interview.
plugged in.
Maybe I was coming for Kit Fest.
We called you.
Nilikuja asubuhi, nimeingia tu hapa mimi am preparing.
Yangu, I called you.
Kid Fest ni ya November. Unaona?
KTA.
Kid Fest ni ya November.
I was coming
Yeah,
for
it's not Kid Fest.
I was
Look at
coming for the
it,
awards.
KTA.
I was coming for the
One
awards.
and the same thing.
Then naingia,
Yeah.
naona na ile ni nini inaendelea pale? Wale sinawajua.
Kwa break uliniambia aje?
Nilikwambia aje?
Ati ulifanya nini?
Nikafanya aje?
Amesema alikuwa anafanya nini?
No, you know this guy.
Nick,
This guy.
we've forgiven you for now. You will explain further.
Yes.
Like we said, there's a beautiful hotel across. We'll just go and have a conversation
This
there.
is amazing.
But let's talk about the production that is starting tomorrow. Yeah,
Yes.
please, tuambieni. Billboard iko pande gani this time?
House of Lies. House of Lies. Tembea tu. You know, with Crony, just when you are traveling on any major road in this town,
Major.
angalia tu,
Mashinani huwezi tupata.
hatuwezi market Katana Road.
Hiyo si major road.
Umoja,
Sio
huwezi
major
tupata
road.
umoja ati tume-
Ati Kayole Spine Road. That's not a major road. Tupate Waiyaki Way, Ngong Road, Mombasa Road,
Yes.
Thika Highway.
Yeah.
Those are the roads where you angalia tu utaona a billboard somewhere. But House of Lies is starting tomorrow. It's a very beautiful show. I know we always keep saying this in every single one of our shows.
Yes.
Yes.
But this one will be nice.
Okay.
Should be a
anyone-
good one.
It will be a very good one. Anyone who can
What
make
is it? Because when you see House of Lies,
Yes.
inaka ni vitu mingi tunafanya, and you guys took the time to do a video to show us
Yes.
how we lie and how we are lied to.
Yes.
In so many ways.
Yes.
So what do you expect to see? Are we jabbing at the government? Are we jabbing at
What we are saying is that when you follow the road of House of Lies, itaanzia huko juu Mogadashi, ikuje huko Wajir, ikuje Marsabit.
Yes,
Ikuje
Lubumbashi.
Mogodashi.
I was not part of this interview.
Lubumbashi.
Yes. So it's a house full of lies.
Yes.
You just need to come and see how
Yeah.
but you created the show.
Yeah, you know, forget about the mega ones Kenyans talk about. There are small lies tuko nazo ndani ya nyumba.
That's
Yes.
true.
Ndani ya nyumba that we start with sisi.
Yeah.
We have some.
The family is the smallest basic unit
Yes.
of any functional society.
Yeah.
And the lies start there.
Yeah.
So that's what we are trying to nini.
Okay,
address.
it's running through the weekend. How much are we paying?
Yeah.
Advance zimeisha. Kuna hata space. Tunajua tabia zenu. Selling out is what you guys do.
Yeah, it's our weakness. So what we do, if you want our tickets, we know, if you want to know theaters advance, now you
Yes.
can book online.
Yeah.
Unaona vile unaingianga
Kile kitambo ilikuwa unapata pale unakatiwa kakaratasi.
Nakatiwa huko.
unaona vile tulibook ndege
Yes, yes, ya kwenda Dubai, yes,
and
yes, I
at your
remember.
comfort of your house. It's the same way now we can book our our
our
tickets,
shows online.
our shows and everything. www.cronyproductions.co.ke.
Yes.
Ukienda pale, select your seat. The seat is 1,500. So far, you'll choose the seat that you want. And
Pick a convenient timing.
Yes,
we have 5 shows.
Yes,
5
Friday,
shows.
one show, Saturday and Sunday, 3 p.m. and 6:30 p.m.
Okay.
Yes,
Sunday.
I
Na
think
Sunday.
Mimi, because I know we are very limited for time,
Yes.
I would also take this chance to really appreciate the Kenya Cultural Center
Yes.
for, this space. I can't begin to tell you how much we suffer trying to find convenient space to stage our shows in this city. So the Kenya Cultural Center has always been a great supporter of art in regards to how they prioritize giving us space and how they prioritize affordable or convenient pricing. for the groups that are working here.
Okay.
So I hope they keep doing that so that we are able to have shows every other week. Wanatuambianga wekeni show kila wiki. So,
something is happening here today because we see there's a lot of movement. Lights.
Razzmatazz.
Razzmatazz is
Mbwembwe.
Wachana mbwembwe. You in National Theatre.
Mbwembwe kupita Naivasha kukuja huku.
Guy, my friend. National Theatre. Wachana na sarakasi. Hii ni sarakasi. Mtu sarakasi wanasema mbwembwe. My friend,
Razzmatazz.
Yes.
Kevin, what's happening here
Today we are celebrating the theatre industry for the year 2024. So last year we had, what we've been able to document so far, we had over 240 productions staged around the country. Of course, Nairobi is dominating with close to 90 to 92% of those activities. And then we have counties like Uasin Gishu in Eldoret, which is the second county with the highest number of performances, followed by Mombasa. And then we have performances in Siaya, in Embu, in Kiambu, in Lamu. We have close to 10 counties that are very active in theatre. And so today what is happening is the Kenya Theatre Awards. So last year we had a jury going to almost 200 shows, and we had a list of nominees of around 178 people who've been nominated across 36 categories, and today we are going to celebrate and award excellence in that category, in those 36 categories, and awarding close to around 40 to 41 individuals who've excelled in the year 2024. And so that's what we are preparing for. Today from 5 p.m. it's going to be the biggest theatre day in the country.
I don't know if you guys have heard about the dress code, eh?
Yeah.
Your dress code niliambiwa nikasema please just text it to me so that I can Google.
So what you're saying, kuna kukuja na jeans na sneakers za white.
Wacha. First of all,
Hata hiyo jina haezi pronounce.
Come on, I think
after interviews we need to start
Balesque.
yes.
Yeah.
Balesque
We need to start regulating nguo za harusi zisiingie hata interviews.
Kuna nguo za harusi na nguo za vitenge zimekatwa za viti.
Na kuna cutting.
You guys will be arrested.
So are you guys going to be a part of this? Are you nominated? Are you looking to win any awards?
We have been part of this amazing event as a former nominee. It's always beautiful to be part of the Kenya Theatre Awards.
Yeah.
And as a team, we have been nominated numerous times within the Kenya Theatre Awards. Na tumeshinda kadhaa.
Nice.
Yeah. So this year we were not lucky, but we work for next year.
Yes.
I like that because I'm a former nominee as well.
Yes.
Former nominee 2 years ago.
Yes.
Came up with my parents here, and they were expecting nitoke hapa na award. But by the time tunafika nyumbani tukaencourageana.
Si huyo alikuwa na act kama mlango.
Yes.
How can you act like a door and expect to win?
They noticed how amazing. No. They had that door.
Yes.
The way it was opening and closing.
There was something about
Nominated. There was just something about it. So ukipatiwa kama muti,
Yes.
please move with the wind as well.
But what I have to acknowledge is a very beautiful list of people who are
That's
being
true.
recognized this year.
Yeah.
I mean, theatre is more robust than it has been in the recent years.
Yeah.
And recognition is always a very big part of trying to develop it moving forward. So I think this plays a huge part in the development of the space.
And we've seen growth over the last 4 years. This is, I think, the 4th ceremony we are doing.
Yes.
We started with 33 productions in the year 2021 that were awarded in 2022. But this year we are talking about 235 performances. The average tickets when we were starting was 800, right, across all the performances. Right now, the average ticket price for a Kenyan theatre show is 1,800. So you see, in 4 years, it has grown with 1,000. So because what we are keen on is also statistics.
Yeah.
And looking at how many people are being employed. Because if you multiply around 235 and assuming each production is employing at least 20 people, and they'll tell you, in their production, the amount of direct revenue they are giving or income they are giving to artists, the minimum number is 20.
Yeah.
Look at the people who are ticketing, people who are marketing, people who are on stage, people who are doing set design. And if you translate that to jobs, it goes over 5,000 jobs directly.
Yeah.
Directly. And as I told you, and the income I said 10 million is not money coming to us.
Yes.
It's money that theatre companies are earning.
akina nani. Yes.
Yeah, again, we have to reiterate that
Mtu wa China mkate.
Zungu kubwa ya reiterate.
sahi kisibuzima, you know, sasa dikiti natafutiwa. So, I like what everyone has said. That's all.
Come on,
This guy is
really,
blank.
we gave you, a chance. The Kenya Theatre Awards, it's a build-up from something that has happened over months, where there are trainings happening in different counties. Maybe you can just highlight kidogo about that before kama tuko na muda.
Yes, as I said, 95% of theatre activities is happening in Nairobi.
Yeah.
Like, this is the first year we have nominees from Eldoret and Mombasa.
Yes.
Because you'll find most of this is dominated in Nairobi. Because that's where the National Theatre is. That's where most venues with ample space where artists have been able to be exposed and trained are. What we're doing is going to mashinani, to the counties, and training and equipping theatre artists with the capacity to produce as people in Nairobi. And you've seen that. In Eldoret, before we did the County Theatre Fiesta, we were having 2 to 3 shows. Now we're having 12 shows. Same case in Mombasa. And so what this is doing, what we do is, as Kenya Cultural Center, we have a program called County Theatre Fiesta. So we go to the county, we identify theatre groups who are practicing in their various small capacity. We hold a residency for around 10 days. So we are able to train them in all spaces, aspects of theatre, from acting, directing, producing. We go with lighting equipment to show them how to produce a show with lighting.
Oh, wow,
and we
proper
give
training.
Yes, proper training. We give them capacity to be able to produce a show at the National Theatre. So we train like 5 groups, and then we identify the best group from that county, and then we bring them to perform at the National Theatre during the Kenya International Theatre Festival. We've done that in 6 counties. This year we are going to train 10 counties. We are going to train if I can remember them, Siaya, Kakamega, Kisumu. We're going to train in Nakuru, Embu, Kiambu, Nyeri, Machakos, Mombasa, Lamu, and Kwale. So this is, and we aim to build this because we want this statistic to grow. We want Nairobi to reduce, not because they are reducing the performances, but because other counties are increasing their performances. And this, what we'll do, it will improve, even as we say, as we inviting and putting theatre and culture as part of the tourism product, so that when people and tourists go to Masai Mara, they'll find performances in Narok. When they go to Savo, they'll find performances in Voi, in Mombasa. When they go to Kisumu, they'll find performances there that are quality. And that is what we want to ensure, that we elevate theatre to that level. As I said, we need corporates to come on board. Corporates have to also see that we have value for them. And that's why we are rewarding excellence. That's why we are promoting those, so that it's not just about the capital.
Yeah.
It's everyone else. We are able to create that platform for every aspiring actor.
Okay.
So that when they are growing up, I want my children to be theatre artists, but I don't want them to struggle the way I struggled.
Yes.
You know, we want to build them that platform. And it is not only government responsibility, it's collective responsibility. The artists have a part to play, corporates have a part to play, the private sector has a part to play, so that we elevate this art. Because this is an industry that can earn huge amount of money. Broadway alone provides over 12,000, 99,000 jobs annually to theatre artists.
Yes.
If we talk of revenue that it generates, the revenue that theatre in Broadway is generating can fund Kenyan government, because it is generating revenue in trillions. And just theatre activities. And that's where we want to bring this industry to.
All right.
It's a good thing that he has mentioned the counties that matters, likes of Siaya, Homa Bay, Kisumu, and the rest.
In fact,
so unfortunate.
Siaya County, I am here and saying that I'm very proud of what they are doing.
Yes.
That now I will go back home and practice from home.
Yes.
You don't need to be there.
Ni uchungu sana tujasikia Kisii County kitajwa. It goes to show how
it's not broad-based.
talent in Inada. Haiko broad-based.
No, it's not true. You know, the program.
Yes.
Let me tell you something, Mikali.
Utalima maembe. Utalima maembe.
Unajua na wajua walikuwa wametoka wanaenda.
Yes.
Kufika Narok wakapatana video ya Mbarambamba. Wakaanza kujiuliza.
Ndio hii.
Tukarudi kweli ndio theater.
Hapana.
But I can tell you guys that if there are 2 counties that have immense talent, exemplary talents,
yes,
are the 2 counties which are Nyamira County and Kisii.
Talent in what?
In
Elaborate.
a lot of things. We have singers, we have we have musicians,
Mention
dancers.
Yes.
I can mention Nyanshinsky. Nyanshinsky.
Narrington na nani?
Kendrick Lamar. Anatoka wapi? Anatoka wapi? But away from that,
So you are saying
these two
are
counties
not like us?
no, you are not like them. So they have immense talent.
Okay.
And one of the top talents the two counties have been able to provide, of course, is Osoro and Victor Nyata, among very many, talents that are down there. So I'm inviting, the theater practitioners, from Crony, from the body, which is Kenya National Theatre or Cultural Center, if you may, to come to Kisii County, to come to Nyamira County. I'll personally organize a meeting with the two governors. It will be an exclusive meeting for you, for the sake of uplifting talents from that area.
I think let's take this conversation offline. Because we're giving you 5 minutes. Don't put it about governor.
No, I'm inviting you guys.
I have a question,
Yeah.
not really a question. Like, I'd like to understand the process of the Crony Productions, because Kevin talked about elevation,
Yes.
and we've seen the elevation over the years.
Yes.
Like I said, kuna kiburi kukua a while back, but saizi, you know what I mean? Like, we are doing bigger and better. The audiences, the spaces, the selling out shows, and all of that. What is the work behind the scenes that has got us to this point? What are you doing different than other people who've been in the industry probably longer, but they have not gotten to the heights that you've gotten?
I think the emergence of social media has really made this thing to go a notch higher, especially for people like us who solely. There's an inside joke here about solely. Rely on social media for our marketing, strategy.
Yes.
So social media is really, right now, if guys want to know if we have a play, they'll just go to our social media and they're able to see that we have shows. So social media is a very big, platform for us to support and elevate whatever we are doing right now. Unlike Kitambo, where I used to, unategemea that white board over there. If you don't have a poster over there, then no one will know. And of course, also, I really, really believe that apart from, because when you see this hall, the maximum you can do when you're doing one weekend, it's 2,000. Almost 2,000 people.
If you're doing our format, because you can have people doing 3 shows a day.
Yes. Using our format as a template, 2,000 people is the maximum you can do. So does it mean that the whole of Nairobi we have only 2,000 enthusiasts when it comes to theater? No. It means we have more people outside there who, they can watch whatever we are doing.
Yeah.
And that's through the platform, which is the Akina TikTok, IG, and all social media platforms that, it will give you at least 20-50% of
And I think,
of the audience.
I think the other very crucial part, I keep telling my artist friends that the work you put in the craft should be equal to the work you put in marketing your product.
That's true.
Because this product, it does not benefit us. Wasanii waache kufanyia wasanii shows. Do a show to the audience. When I come to your show, I do not want to see akina Kwach ndio wamekuja kukusupport, because they are not repeat audience. They will not come again. They will come support you once. The next time, it's like a doctor going to another doctor for treatment. They can't be your patient always. You need to get your own, build your community. It's called building a community, because eventually when you do build a community, the community now, when they are not seeing your show, they know you always have shows. So they will be the ones asking you, na next, nilini. And I think the final point I'd want to make to that regard is, if the cultural center and all the bodies that are concerned would spread the spaces from the National Theatre, like if you would have national theaterlets, if I can call them, across the county and country, that our social halls around the county can be upgraded to performance spaces. Because there are so many groups. Groups differ in strength, muscle.
Yeah.
Kuna wenye wanaweza kuja KNT main auditorium, kuna wenye wanaweza fanya this ukumbi mdogo, kuna wale wanafanya Cheche Gallery,
Na kuna wale wafanyi kabisa huko DC.
exactly. So if what we are requesting is, if these performance spaces like the social halls, Kaloleni, Kayole, whatever, Jericho, all those social halls can be made into, they already exist as facilities,
Yes.
but they can be stepped up.
Yes.
In
They're
a way
not
that,
conducive for theater performance.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
And just to support him that's something also that we are thinking, and we've started conversations with county governments. For example, as we've entered into a partnership and signed an agreement with the Nairobi City County, and part of the agreement is to see how we can upgrade those social halls.
Lazima iwak.
Performance spaces.
Yeah.
So that is conversation that has to happen.
Yeah.
And I want to agree with him, and I want to mention that's why marketing is a critical component. That's why Crony and maybe Too Early for Birds have stood out.
Yes.
Because they have embraced technology
Yeah.
in theater.
Yeah.
And that is the only way out. Because those are two outstanding groups that people need to study how they are doing their shows and how they've been able to reach a very wide community. And they're able, once you do that, they're able to some extent be self-sustaining.
Yes.
Because a lot of people with the nature of theater, because theater companies are not able to afford spaces, because spaces are limited. They're not able to afford spaces to run shows for 2 weeks, to be able to reach 10,000 people, you know.
Yes.
Because of that, then marketing has to come in critical. You're required to break even in a very short period.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you prepare for a show for a month, and you're supposed to break even
In 1 week.
3 days.
Yeah.
Not in 3 days. And that's the biggest challenge we are facing as theater.
I think the question would be then, how did Phoenix Players do it? Because it used to happen, there was not a lot of marketing happening then, and with the tools that we have now, then maybe.
Yeah.
It is the nature in which they were set up. They were set up as a repertory theater.
Okay.
You see, the space is theirs.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
They are managing the space, and therefore they are able to prepare for shows and maybe run these shows because they have artists on resident, like their employees, you see, and then they have the space, it is theirs. They are able to schedule 2 different shows on the same day because they are able to switch, you know, or today and tomorrow. It's very hard to switch Crony and another group in the same day at the National Theatre because they have very different dynamics, you know, and the shows are not prepared to work hand in hand.
Yes.
And also on top of that,
we-
the likes
as we
of
conclude.
Phoenix, they use work donations.
Yes.
When you go, you see the seat. This is donated by Shirji Khan and the like. So it was easier for them. It was easier for them. Parklands. After we are done with the run for those 3 days, it's our wish to take the place to the person. It's our wish to take the place so that we can't work this play for a whole month.